Fala galera, chegamos aqui no Autódromo Internacional de Daytona. A corrida vai ser aqui dentro, ali a pista já tem gente andando. A gente vai mostrar pra vocês aí, então fica de olho, vai ser um fim de semana muito bom, se Deus quiser.
Que campeonato que você vai correr, Theo? Qual categoria?
Correr o SPKS em duas categorias, a X30 Júnior e a K100 Júnior também. E é isso, vamos pra cima no SPKS.
Valeu, Theo, boa sorte.
One and double-digit kart counts to start this one across the board, over 220 here this weekend in Daytona. Alexander Vanchev and Ralston Performance Group this year, they have been well, the class of the junior ranks, especially in the 125cc classes, and in what was kind of an option year for Alex, the Romanian American. He's going to stay in junior and stay, it appears, Alex, on top of the board. He'll lead us to green alongside rookie Ashton Woon.
For the back, theosalomao put the field on notice, and KA Jr. had a pretty similar performance here in qualifying for X30 Junior. Rolls off third, Sarah Bradley fourth, Nate Dupuy in fifth, Edward Kennedy for the Energy Corsa Americas team in P6. For the back, Jose Shermer, Cole Medeiros, Leonardo Ceravelli, and Ethan Skyman Yencic. Your top 10 drivers. We roll back even more. Benham Abernathy, Martin Hamarillo, Arthur Barbie, Hector Turiaga, Tristan Murphy, Achilles Saperco, and the rest of this X30 junior field, all the way down to Alexander Savage and Jeremiah Thomas. He rounds out the 22 kart field that makes up the X30 junior class. Slow and steady is Vanchev and Woon on the front row. I'm sure if you're Ashton Woon, you've noticed the last couple of races, the inside row has gotten a much bigger jump than the outside row, so you're going to try to time this as best as possible, but with such a tight turn number one, it does make life very difficult if you're in the outside lane. Woon's going to try to slot line at P2. He timed it perfect. He's going to stay P2. Salomao third. A pretty clean start up front. They're side by side way further back, but already starting to fan out here early doors in this one. But if you're Ashton Woon, if you're Theo Salomao, the Orsalon as one of the host TD drivers who left the racetrack in 3, you can't do what Woon is doing right now, and that is defending on lap number 1, because if you do that with the pace that Vanchev showed, he put it on pole by 2/10. This can happen, where you already have a 5 kart length advantage.
Big move from Theo Salomao all the way to the limit on the Orsalon Tony kart as he takes over second from Ashton Woon. How about Nate Dogg?
Wow. Getting
his elbows out early there with a send it for third, and that's going to trigger one heck of a fight into turn 3. Woon trying to be nice and play clean with his teammate, and Sarah Bradley, she'll get the spot from him as well. And it is bumper cars wide there for Edward Kennedy, and he's going to quickly swing across the bow to cover off Jose Shermer.
You have to do that too, because if you hold the outside of that double right, you're getting past there, you just really quickly lose more spots than you think. But for Nate Dupuy, the reason for my reaction to that pass was just that was a center corner move. I mean, Woon slid up the racetrack a little bit more than he would have probably liked under braking into turn number 1, but for Nate Dogg to make that move stick, it shows you the grip that this racetrack has been developing on the inside of turn number 1, and if any driver even gives you a lane, you can take it. And so for the newly, I guess, announced sort of deal for Nash with Nate Dogg, this is his first weekend really with those guys on the national scene. It's been a pretty good performance for him, up there into the top 3 now. Sarah Bradley hot on his tail. This is the second group that's formed. As of now, 3 laps into a 12-lap heat race. The pace compared to the top 2 isn't there, but let's see what Sarah elects to do. She has her teammate behind her in Ashton Woon. I wonder if they're going to try to work together to get around Nate Dupuis as one of the Nash Motorsports machines. Colby Heroes drops the tire, and there's our answer. Bradley through the 3rd. Woon could not follow, so Dupuis now is in the middle of a SCR sandwich, and what a lunge through 4, and Woon's going to take advantage of all of that. Kennedy around the outside of Bradley, and Bradley's going to lose a handful of spots, but now Edward Kennedy is mowing the lawn here in Daytona.
The energy driver will quickly have to try and cover things off in a moment and get himself back to where he should be. Here we go on the backstretch though, in the run for the lead. All of this happening has allowed Alexander Vanchev and THEOSALOMAO's margin to eclipse 2 seconds. Make it 3 to Ashton Woon. The fighting all behind them as we got the warning flag displayed there for Nathan Dupuis. So first heat race, first black and white signal given from race director Blake Hunt and crew. That of course means the incident's under review. Could be a penalty, could not be. If you think that it is probably going to swing towards a penalty, you of course could try to give some spots back and maybe earn the ire of the officials, but Nate right now is focused forward. He's going to stay at the front of this pack, and I think that's a smart move, Alex. There's too many go-karts here to try and let a couple back by.
I'd rather let post-race decide where I finish rather than do it on the racetrack and then realize that you didn't even have to do that, as Martin Hamarillo, I think there was some assistance on that one there, goes way wide 1, loses 2 spots. Abernathy through now on, I believe, Sarah Valley there for 10th. But this group here from Dupuis on back has changed dramatically. Ethan Sky started in 10th. What a run for him. Up now into the top 6. That Rocket Racing Company machine has been flying in the opening stage of this race. We're a little bit over halfway through now, and he's got a chance for the top 5. This is a driver who's making his national debut, I guess, on the X30 side of things. He's a driver that's known for running in KA. He's down there in AMR Motorplex doing a lot of testing. Has a great coach now in Alessandro Vitulio there, helping that entire squad as well. Looks up to Alan Isambard down there whenever they're in Homestead working together. So the improvements are showing for Ethan Sky. He's got a chance at the top 5. If we shift our focus quickly here to the top 2, THEOSALOMAO has closed that gap to 2/10 between himself and Vanchev.
This is going to get close here, right at the halfway mark. It'll be 7 down, 5 laps to go. Vanchev dropped a little bit of dirt on that last turn, and here we go. Turn 1, and they're going to go way wide. Big send and a slider from THEOSALOMAO. And, well, if there was any doubt that going to the second group was going to get marbles on your tires, going all the way to the edge of the pavement is going to really hinder Alexander Vanchev's current lap.
I hate to say that was textbook, but it kind of was. I mean, that is what you have to do to get around somebody in turn 1, because what that has now done is created a huge gap between himself and Vanchev, because THEOSALOMAO kept it just on the racing surface. Vanchev puts it all on the marbles. He had to take the next 2 corners off, took some PTO there and get the tires cleaned off. That's going to ruin his chances here at a win with 3 to go. Good move there for Kennedy, but yeah, back up front, look at the gap THEOSALOMAO has not created. It's almost a second, 8/10 between himself and the Rawls Performance Group Cosmic. Further back, Woon's a little bit too far, I think, at this point to do any damage, but I don't want to speak too soon because we saw in the previous heat race how easy it is to drop a tire by yourself.
Well, don't write this one off too early. Already, visually, Vanchev's closing back on in. We've still got plenty of racing left, and now with those two, if they fight again, all of a sudden it's new life for this pack here. 4th, 5th, 6th, Dupuis, Bradley, Manuchek. Anything going to happen down in turn 1 now with 3 to go? Nate's trying to keep it from happening. That was a big lockup real early to hug that inside section of the racetrack and keep her behind.
I think he almost grabbed some dirt there. I was wondering what that was. It looked like a puff of something, but for Nate Dupuis, at this point in the race, having to go defensive. But what this does now is create a pack behind you. But this is exactly what Nate wanted. You create enough of chaos behind you to where now they're going to race for 5th. You have a huge lead now over this group. Ethan Sky to 5th, Bradley to 6th. And now this has brought this next train. Madeiro's through. Here comes Shermer there in 8th. And Bradley is going to lose a lot of spots there. She went from fighting for 5th to now outside the top 8. And here, as we see a couple, 2 to go now this time around, Nate Dupuis, that defensive driving has worked as Katowski has spun around and won.
Nico Katowski, we caught moments earlier working his way up and into the top 10. And look at this, Saravalli there on the 787. His teammate is still in there in this fight with Kennedy, and that, I guess, would go back to 11th then. Or no, back to 10th with Madeiro. Whoa, lots of defending, lots of hard racing action, tire-to-tire contact, and nearly into the flag stand. Vanchev says absolutely not.
Vanchev was not happy with the way that theosalomao was driving him low. Fireworks here in the heat race. 1 to go. Ashton Woon is loving what he's seeing. I kind of wrote him off with 3 to go. Vanchev at this point parking the bus.
Well, we talked about it. I meant that if the driver wants to make it tough to get by, they can. Alexander Vanchev doing just that. Holding it tight, holding it narrow. He's built himself a little gap with that good exit run, headed into the double right and down that short chute. He should be safe. Final turn, top 3 all together, and single file. Alexander Vanchev survives the onslaught. He'll win heat number 1. Salomao, Woon, Dupuis, Manuchek,